Welcome to Nut Busting Garage, where we've been working on this Flip It Civic. This is day 3 of the build. I know that I've dragged this out a little bit longer than I said. We're open for 2 days, but it's taking us a little bit longer than we thought. But anyways, on today's episode, we went ahead and we took care of the cooling system, all the vacuum leaks, filled the transmission, got oil back in it, finished torquing down the pan, put the oil plug back in the pan, topped off all our fluids, got the CV axles back in, and we did a nut and bolt check underneath, make sure everything's good. We got that shift linkage, hooked back up that makes the car go forward and back. So, I imagine you guys want to see all this, so let's get to the live action. Like I said on the last video, I was going to let the pan cure. It has cured, so the next step is we're going to be sitting here torquing down the oil pan, and then we're going to move right into getting some motor mounts, the shift linkage hooked up, then we're going to get the CV axles in. We're just going to start buttoning this thing up one step at a time. We're going to get the all the coolant hoses hooked back up so we can get the coolant back into the system. We need to get oil in it, the drain plug in it, just go through the list and start knocking everything out. And the next thing is this thing will be done, at least to the point to where it's running, driving, and if I wanted to sell it in this condition, we could go ahead. And from that point, we'll go ahead and make our choices on whether we're going to keep cleaning it up to squeeze a little bit extra profit out of it, or just get this one out the door and move on to the next, because I got a few more cars on the list to do, so this is just the first one on the list. Alright guys, I've gotten the shift linkage hooked up, the exhaust bolted in, and the oil pan all torqued down. So next thing is we got to throw these CV axles in. They go here. It's been sitting for a little bit. It's just a hunch. It's just a hunch that this car's sat for just a little bit. But anyways, we're going to get the CV axle thrown in through there, get those plugged in on both sides. And then once we have that done, we should be completed under the car, except for maybe the front coolant line. We could grab that while we're down here. And I still have to get the heater core coolant lines hooked up. Once that's all done, we should be good to go. We had to stop work for a minute, had to come in, make food for the kids and the wife. We're having chicken. McCormick steak seasoning's where it's at when it comes to chicken. Even though it says it's just a steak seasoning, it's fire on some chicken breast diced up, and then you make salad. Throw it on top of your salad, have a chicken salad. Alright, done with making food for the family. I'm back out here. We're getting ready to throw some oil in here. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some diesel oil. I use diesel oil for all my rigs. So we're going with the v-tec. It's the cheaper brand here for this car. But the thing is, with the v-tec diesel oil, they've actually done studies, and this is actually a really good oil. Even knowing it's Walmart's cheap oil, it's still an actual good oil. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. It has higher zinc qualities in it. It's going to be way better oil, and it's going to help increase the life of this motor. So we'll go ahead and throw that in. Then I'm going to get the radiator thrown in, and then we'll start adding coolant. And I need to check the level on the transmission and most likely top that off. Since it was out, it probably lost some. So we'll be moving into that too. Alright, so I'm adding my fluid. You can see down there, I get a good angle here. I got the drain plug out, so we're just going to keep adding until it starts draining out. I'm filling it through the speed hole, or the speed sensor, not the speed hole, the speed sensor hole. But then I got the fill plug, level plug out. So as we're filling it, we'll eventually see it start running out of there. When it does, we'll throw the plug in and then put the speed sensor back in, and we'll be done. Hooking up all the coolant lines. I got the radiator in, the heater core lines hooked up. The transmission was topped. I got it topped off. It's got fluid. It was way down, so I'm glad I took care of that. I've already disconnected the distributor on the car and then cranked it until I had oil pressure. On the dash, the light turned off. I also, when we were doing all of this, I changed out the sensor. And that seemed to fix the light problem. Everything was good there. I've already set up my bleeder system, as you can see here behind me. I've already bled everything. I also, right here, there's a little bleeder cap for the line. I already pulled that, let all the coolant out. Everything seems to be good there. So I already went through also, and I threw some vacuum caps back here on one of the EGR solenoid. and then one cap right here where we had an open spot on the intake. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot on trying to start it now that this is all done. We're gonna get it to fire. I'm just gonna have it fire up for a second and shut it back off. It's about 4 a.m. right now where I'm at, because again, I work nights, so my shop's fully insulated. It's relatively quiet, but I don't want to be breathing the fumes. So we're just gonna get this fired up and make sure everything's good and still wants to start. Running a little longer than it should have, but still runs, starts right up. The timing's a little bit off, but as you can tell, it also idled lower this time because we fixed all the vacuum leaks. So anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. I know I said this was only going to be like a 2-day thing. I wanted to get done quick, and we're just going to see how many more episodes I can drag out of this, but we still have to button up the interior, throw a crash bar back on the front of this because the other one was dented when we pulled off the front bumper. I found out that was bent. So we'll be throwing on a new crash bar, get a new front bumper on this, and we'll button up the interior and get some seats inside of it, and might even throw a radio because I just realized there is no speakers in it. But anyways, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Nut Busting Garage. We're going to just sit here and keep trying to get some vehicles out and some more content up for you guys. Thanks again. See you in the next one.